The next patient was a giraffe, who had a very strange cough. It sounded like it had swallowed a dozen steam whistles. If it had been a locomotive, it would have felt proud. But it was just a poor giraffe, and then it's not fun to sound like a whole central station in the throat. Giraffe necks are the worst thing a doctor can encounter. They are so long that you have to climb up on a ladder, and no flashlight in the world can light up more than one vanishingly small part of one such neck. Samuel thought himself to be a phenomenal doctor. And he also thought himself many times to be very clever. As now with the giraffe neck. Instead of just settle for the glow from the flashlight that didn't reach down, he tied the lamp on a string and hoisted it down to the very bottom.
Yes. May I get the whole jug of the pepper coffee, nurse?
Slowly he poured the coffee into the giraffe's neck. It takes a long time for coffee to make it down through a giraffe's neck, and Samuel had time to climb down the steps and look at the next patient, before the coffee got where it should. But then the effect became all the stronger. The giraffe suddenly began to hiccup, and 1, 2, 3, the cough came like a volcanic eruption from the throat. And with the cough came the root of evil. 4 large whistles flew out, the type that usually sit on factory chimneys and that tells when it's time to have lunch and to end the day. The giraffe had taken the opportunity to lick the whistles down when it went through South Bell a few days earlier. It was the only circus animal that had opportunity to reach that high. Today's reception was over. Samuel sighed and was just about to change and become a regular station master again, when Sonny came running. Had Samuel been on his guard, he would have seen the evil gleam which Sonny had in his eyes. But Samuel was slightly tired and noticed nothing.
"Doctor, kind doctor, come right away. It sounds so strange inside the locomotive. Inside the boiler. I'm afraid it has caught some terrible steam boiler bacillus."
Samuel put on the stethoscope again and said to Redley,
Let's go then. Of course, I'm not a locomotive specialist, but a doctor may not be foreign to anything in this world. It's best that nurse accompanies.
He got up and took his little doctor's bag with him, where he had everything from adhesive patches to doctor's books. Among other things, a small book called Doctor's Book for Engines. He picked it up and they hurried into the locomotive workshop. The locomotive had come a long way, even if there was still plenty left to do. But the steam boiler, the wheels and the chimney were in place, as well as half of the cab. Outside, it actually looked like a locomotive. But strange sounds seeped out of the boiler. Dull, grunting sounds, which sometimes turned into real howls. Samuel rushed forward and pressed the stethoscope against the boiler. He looked very worried. He listened for a long time and then he looked up Doctor's Book for Engines and read, "Grunting and cooing sounds in the locomotive's steam boiler are signs of disturbances in vapor circulation and must immediately cause surgery."
Exactly what I was thinking. This requires effort. I crawl into the steam boiler and operate directly. Nurse gets ready to catch up when I call. May I get the surgical knife?
Susanna handed Samuel an old woodcutter's knife that had seen its sharpest days. Sonny helped him in through the furnace door. Samuel was actually some inches too wide for the door, but with eager help from the outside, he came into the dark echoing boiler. With a thump, Sonny slammed the door shut behind him and locked. "Help!" It was heard from inside the boiler. Samuel had of course forgotten the flashlight and saw nothing. At the same time, the grunting sound rose to an intense noise, which cut in the ears even of those who stood on the outside. How it would sound inside the steam boiler wasn't hard to imagine. Sonny winked an eye at Susanna and she winked back. Finally the coin had dropped for her. And she laughed a lot.
I borrowed the pig from the circus. I just hope it's enough to cure Samuel's worst doctoral figments.
Help, let me out.
If you give me my vitamin pills, I'll think about it. And then you stop playing doctor in the future. Don't forget, you are station master, not a doctor.
Samuel first became very quiet. But the grunts became all the more intense. Finally they heard his weeping voice.
I'm giving up. You'll get your pills. And I promise not to play doctor anymore. Can I come out now?
Just a moment,
Sonny said, and then he and Susanna danced a strange war dance around the locomotive, before they unlocked the door. A very meek and sooty Samuel crawled out. From that moment, Samuel's doctor's surgeries ceased. People and animals in Centerville received the medicine they had ordered without any extra surveys. And everyone felt good that way. But the medicine Samuel himself had received, they didn't have to use anymore. Sonny had all the credit for that.